All right. Welcome to the Why Should I Refer You podcast. It's hosted by myself, Mike Garrison, best-selling author on referrals, and my latest book, Can I Borrow Your Car, is the culture book on how to get predictable referrals. One of my friends and one of my most trusted confidants is a gentleman that is appearing in front of you if you're on YouTube, and you'll hear his dulcet tones if you're not soon. It's Tim Rhode. Tim is an amazing person, a multiple exited business professional, consultant, author, an all around good guy, and he picks a great spot to go have a burger. And next time you're not going to get a salad, are you?
No, no salad. I'm in for the burger.
Yeah. So Tim, tell everybody a little bit about yourself and why you put up with me.
I'm not sure about the last part, but the first part, I am. I think you nailed it in your description. But I am like a 40 plus year business veteran. I am a business growth advisor and leadership coach based in Baltimore, Maryland. I work with clients across the country to help them make their businesses more profitable, more valuable, and mainly easier to run. So in the process, our goal is to increase the value of their businesses by at least 2x in 2 years.
Awesome. So one of the things that I really liked, I thought was really amazing, because you've got a bigger history in fitness than I do, but I've always been interested in fitness. I've always really been interested in the game of fitness as a business owner. How do you actually, because there's a lot of people that are passionate and make no money. And you, on the other hand, have built two what I would call premier athletic experiences.
That's a good way to put it. We back in the late '90s, we created a new breed of health club. My experience in the health and wellness space, or wasn't before wellness, was health and fitness space, was that it was a crazy business model. I kind of came into it from a different industry, and I realized within a few months that people were expected to give you money every month, and then whether or not they got healthy and fit was really up to them, and it just wouldn't work anywhere else, right? It wouldn't work in any other business. So when it was our turn, my wife and I both spent more than a decade running facilities for other people. I launched a consulting practice to help people turn their businesses around and overcome some of the challenges they had. We finally decided to open our own, and in the process, we wanted to create a business model that kind of turned that paradigm on its head. Our goal was we opened a facility, the MAC, the Maryland Athletic Club and Wellness Center, was created to help make sure that you achieved your goals. And that was our promise. That was our brand promise. What we did every day, we came in to help you actually succeed. So that was our big difference. And it took off. I mean, it went from zero. It was a dead scratch startup to $15 million in about 5 years.
Yeah. So one of the things when we were doing pre-show prep, and it's also just because you and I are men of a certain age, meaning I'm not saying we're old, but we're seasoned.
Just ask us, yeah.
We're seasoned, heavily seasoned, and especially me with salt and pepper. I think Tim colors his hair, but anyway, you don't need to divulge that on the
That
air.
and I shave, so.
That's right. Yeah. So, but one of the things we talked about is this concept of why should I refer you, and I've really appreciated your feedback on my book, your passion for helping and serving other people. It's just been a really neat thing. But I wanted to dive in today because as someone who's running a successful business with, how many members did you have at your peak?
Yeah, we had more than 15,000 memberships, and our clubs were experiencing about 2,000 visits a day each.
Yeah. So you were, shall we say, the most sexy gazelle on the Serengeti to all the people that want to sell to your members, right? Think about all the businesses that want access to 15,000 members, right? And you had physical locations they were coming to. So I'm sure sponsorships. So like, were you getting a lot of people that were trying to figure out how to get you to give them your clients?
Well, for the record, I never really felt like a gazelle, but but yes, the answer is yes. I mean, we were definitely a target or an attractive business contact because of the sheer volume of people we had coming through, and a lot of them were they were business leaders and successful people in their own right. We were the most expensive club in the market, and so we attracted that level of clientele. We targeted 35 plus. We were pushing $100 a month. And so yeah, we were a very attractive target for people who wanted to make contact or interaction with other members.
So would it be fair to say that everyone that was contacting you, wanting you to refer them, that they were all completely caring about you, that they had your best interest at heart? Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, no, not, not even. Not even close. And an awful lot of times it wasn't even thinly disguised. Like it was just blatant. And so, those people you kind of gave the 10-foot pole, and then there were others there were other people who we were dying to give referrals to. Like we wanted to help them out. The distinction was massive. And I think you captured it really well in your book, and you really laid it out.
Yeah. So like the referral predators, versus the givers, right?
Yeah, even maybe not even predators as much as scavengers, like the people who were scrounging around looking for their next commission check. And I appreciated it. I understand. I've helped develop, I don't know, hundreds of salespeople in my career, and so I get it. It wasn't like we would keep them from talking with people, but in general, the ones that I think prospered the most were the ones who took a caring approach and really were looking after the best interest of not just the people we referred, but the best interest of those people as well, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So just remembering, and we're going to pivot to now, because now you're not running the club, your clients are running businesses, and so you probably are seeing the same issue, but once removed in a lot of cases. What were some of the things that people did that made you internally answer the question, why should I refer you, better or worse?
So the ones that helped me answer it better were the ones who took the time to understand, who I was working with, what their needs might be, and then answer questions from me, either offer information, not spew on me, but make available a better awareness of what it is they do, and either let me or help me put together the value that they would have for people I might know, right? So it was like they were getting to know me in a way that provided solutions that I'm always looking for solutions for the people I know, right? And in fact, I wanted to ask you, and maybe we can do this right in the podcast, is I'm looking for an app or some way to share what I call people I've met, right? So one of the things you know about me is that I lead a CEO group. So I've got a group of people that run businesses between $10 and $500 million. And it's not a huge group, but through them I know dozens of others. And I'm trading in referrals every day. And I'm finding that the old process of, the email introduction or sending an Outlook card or something. I wish there was an app that was like people I've met, like especially for my CEO group. I'd like to start keeping almost a database of shareable information. So I don't want to derail the conversation, but if you know any easy way to share like an abstract about people and what they have to offer, that would help me out a bunch.
So there are technology solutions, but I think fundamentally it's a bad idea. Right. So this is a bonus podcast thanks to Tim Rhode. So like one of the things that makes referral special is it's human to human. One of the things that ruins it is trying to be efficient. Right. And so
yeah,
there are, and I turn these things down all the time, but I get like 10 to 20 introductions to like this. There's a couple of software apps out there that will let you know everybody. But here's the problem. You ready? That's why I've got that macro and micro in the book. The macro, which is the I love referrals, how can I help you? That is our wide funnel. That is the high frequency, because you don't have time for a whole bunch more than that. The micro, which is the purposeful, the problem with giving out a list, it's just like we used to do at BNI back in the day, Business Network International. You had a card file, right? Mm-hmm. So you go sit in front of a client or something like that. You say, hey, while I'm getting this paperwork, why don't you take a look through here and see if there's anybody you want to meet, right? When that card file now becomes electronic and you give it to people, right? Number one, you are less valuable because now you're a database. You're not a human being. So like, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that. So my intention was not to, let people into the whole encyclopedia or the whole collection. I don't want to date myself. There might be people out there who don't know what an encyclopedia is. But
Daytimer. Daytimer.
but to be able to hand them out like one at a time, like an abstract on somebody. Like if I wanted to share if I wanted to share Mike Garrison with somebody, I could just say, hey, there's somebody I met this last week. Like many times I'll meet more people in a week than I can share with my guys. And I certainly still plan to do the personalized introductions and all, but just to have something that's got a little more on this person than just the one or two lines. Anyway, I don't want to derail the conversation here. So
It's not bad. It's not bad, but the thing you always like. So number one, there's nothing wrong with experimenting, right? But what I find happens is people spend too much time sending information and not enough time talking to people, right?
yeah, I agree with that 100%.
And you lose research because
Yeah.
I want to only provide information after my client or my referral partner expresses a specific need. Otherwise, it's like, hey, what do you need? What do you know? Now, for example, you and I are working on some stuff which is very specific. I think within the next month or so, we'll probably have a couple of firms that we might be jointly prospecting in and doing work with. I think the danger becomes if you send people an abstract, it makes it seem just like LinkedIn. It makes it seem just like technology. And we get out of that personal, visceral, hey, this is somebody you should meet. He's a great guy. She's an unbelievable business person. Worst case scenario, I think you're going to enjoy the experience. I guarantee it won't be a waste of your time. And you might learn something, right? Then once you've got the agreement for the introduction, that's where, hey, here's something I think is valuable about them. I think so highly of Tim. Believe it or not, I actually have kind of put together what my thoughts are about why this upcoming meeting is going to be so powerful for you. But once again, I don't think it's needed.
Yeah, that can happen organically at that point in time. So, okay.
I think that we complicate referrals. I mean, I just got off a 3-hour mastermind, one of the groups I run, and I just watch everybody getting sidetracked by all of this minutia, that mass marketing and communications, and my new least favorite word in the world, messaging. Go die, go light yourself on fire, and dance with nitroglycerin, right? Like you need to stop worrying about messaging. You need to start talking to people. Right? Because if you have enough clients, if you have enough conversations, guess what? Messaging gets a lot easier. But nobody cares about a freaking website. Nobody cares about all of this crap on LinkedIn. They really don't. And if they do, they're probably not the clients you want anyways. Right? You and I are looking for those business owners that don't have time for social media. They're out there going, how can I increase the value of my company by 10, 15, 40, 100 million? I guarantee you they're not looking at our websites. If they look at the websites, it's just to confirm that we're there.
Yeah, and they're not trolling for contacts on LinkedIn either.
Yeah. So back to why should I refer you? When you think about that, why should I refer you question? What comes to mind about things that you need to hear? And you've talked a little bit about it, but I want to get more granular nowadays. So nowadays, like you don't have 15,000 clients yet. I think you will on Changing Lanes in your book over time. I think you'll have this big audience. But right now, you're working with multimillionaire business owners looking to drive real results to make an impact for their employees, for their clients, and their communities. What kind of things are going to be really important for someone to remotely have a chance to borrow the car?
So it starts with... Are you asking where, if they're looking for referrals from me for them? Mm-hmm. Right. Okay.
To your clients.
To my clients. Yeah. I just had one of those calls before we got on here. I had somebody call and says, "Hey, he really wants to meet you," and it's because he wants to meet my clients, my CEO members. So it starts with the value that they can offer. Like what is it that they can do to help my people succeed. So if I've got some sense, for example, I refer people to you all the time. You've gotten a couple of them from me just in the last week. So it's because I know that you have something that can help them out. Mm-hmm. When I think if we go all the way back to the beginning of the process, when somebody's curious about who I work with, who my ideal clients are, what kind of things they need, what helps them to be successful, what helps me to help them. Now they're working to, it's Stephen Covey, right? Seek first to understand, then to be understood. When people come at me because they know or they think they know who I know, and they start spewing things that they've got that they presume my people might want, they're sort of barging in the door before they're being invited in, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I always say wear clothes when you show up for the first date, right? Because otherwise they might not open the door. Like, really think about it. Like, so often, especially dopamine fiends that we all are now with our phones and whatnot, but so often we find somebody, we figure out how to have some kind of a contact with them. Like, oh, I can get Tim Rhode's attention. Well, you know what? I got to make the sale 100% in that. Like, I've got to get everything done in this one meeting. And I think impatience, especially when you're working with high value people, impatience is a deal killer, complete deal killer. Because, I mean, to be completely frank with the audience, you and I have owned companies across the world. We've done a lot of different things, and we have suffered through enough bad actors to react negatively to urgency in the sales process without lots of really good math.
No question.
I mean, I probably said too much there, but like, if you come at me, hey, this is really important for your business, and you're not able to immediately show me using math that I agree with why it's an immediate ROI or an existential danger, right? If you can't demonstrate that right away and you've got a lot of urgency, you're done. Like, I may be nice to you if you're referred from a friend or something, but like the entire conversation shifts, Tim, and I think you'll agree.
Yeah.
It shifts to how quickly can I get off
end this? Yes.
And it's really bad when you've been suckered into a face-to-face meeting around a meal, and you're like, how can I avoid having this person do surgery on me before I can get to my car? Right? Because like, I'm looking at 45 minutes of torture, right? I hate the fact finder where you're like, this is an Amway presentation.
Yeah.
At the end of it, you're going to challenge my moral character if I don't buy your dishwasher liquid. Because you know the question.
Yes. Ask me how I know that. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Like, that's enough PTSD for you and I. But seriously, when you think about it, there's three questions we have to answer, and you and I are in agreement on this. Why should I meet with you? Why should I refer you? Right? And why should I buy from you? Why should I refer you? Like, to really answer the why should I refer you, you have to have good answers for why to meet and why to buy. And why I should buy from you is never the first question to answer when I'm thinking why should I refer you, right? Because for me, the biggest risk occurs when I introduce you to a high value relationship of mine, because the why should I meet with you is me. It's my reputation, right? You know what I'm saying, Tim?
Exactly. Yep.
And it's never gone bad for you.
Never. No. It's sadly, I do my best to judge that and filter that. A lot of times I tee these people up for their best interest, for the person I'm referring them to. Sometimes I'm doing it for the person I'm referring because I'm giving them a shot. I try to forewarn the person here and just say, look, I'd appreciate if you'd at least hear them out and see if they've got something that might be of value, give them an opportunity. We've all gotten it. And so there's, it's not like they're all black and white. Some of them are in the middle. They're a little worse or a little better. But yeah, I've had my share of, don't ever send somebody like that to me again.
God, it's like the worst is losing a client because you tried to help somebody else out. And
I won't do it anymore. I won't.
No.
I just won't.
Well, it's interesting. So like I don't want to use names or anything, but you recently had said, hey, I've potentially got a referral for you. And I'm not saying that I'm the best in the world at it. I just talk about it. Right? But I remember when this proposed introduction, I reached out to you and I was like, hey, man, like, I really am interested in meeting this person. Can you tell me why it's worth their time to meet with me? Remember? I was like, I wanted you to spell out to me, because my first reaction was, hey, this is a Maserati, this is a Lamborghini type relationship for Tim. And how in the world can I drive that car without wrecking it?
Yeah, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate your whole mindset on this, your values on this. It's clear that this is your primary thing. I wish the rest of the world that's in the exchange of potential customers had a tenth of your, I guess, insight and intensity on this. If people haven't read the book, they absolutely should. But it's just you are so concerned and you're so committed to making sure that it is a valuable exchange, a valuable interaction, and a valuable introduction that I'm fearless about introducing you. I know I'm never going to be sorry if I introduce Mike Garrison to somebody, because he's going to approach with caution, approach with care, approach with compassion, and if he's got the slightest sense in the first 10 seconds or the first 10 days that he can't be of great value to that person, he's going to ask who else he can help introduce them to.
Yeah.
So I had no fear.
I mean, I really appreciate that. For the audience perspective, like, take my egotistical, narcissistic ass out of the equation, right? But I got to this point through a lot of mistakes, right? And mistakes that people gave me the grace to tell me what I did wrong, to tell me, like, which if you think about it, that's the only reason I'm here. I'm here because I made tons of mistakes and I was around these amazing people. Art Radke, Bruce Waz, Bill Reichel, oh my God, Jeff Arnett, Ivan Meisner, Mike Macedonio, Eddie Esposito, Hazel Walker, all of these unfreaking believable people that seem to appreciate. Initially, there was no nuance, Tim. It was just passion. The energy has always been there. But I was like that Schlitz malt liquor commercial with the bull. I mean, I was trashing the store, because
I'm old enough to remember that commercial, by the way. So.
Well, I know. If you don't know it, it's not worth Googling or AIing now. But the thing that I would say to people, and it's kind of cool how we got here, is like, the secret is this. Whenever someone like Tim, who is important to me, right, refers me, I am thinking, number one, like Victor Clark is a longtime friend of mine, one of my first BNI members when I moved down here to the Roanoke area in Lynchburg. And Victor would say, I want you to know one thing. I will jump in front of a truck to protect your relationship with your client, right? And he was an old copier guy back in the day. Mm-hmm. And like, when you come from a really hardcore sales background, you approach referrals with one or two highly divergent mindsets. Like, the first mindset is unfortunately pretty typical, and it's like, referral, easy layup, thank God, I am pounding it, boom, right? And I am getting this sale because it's a referral, which is not evil, but it's short-sighted. The other mindset is, oh my God, thank you. This is amazing. Like, I am not going to mess this up, because what I look for, and we talk about in the book, I'm interested in people that like referring, right? And so the first referral for me is, whether it closes or not, is relatively immaterial. I mean, don't get me wrong, I am in sales. I never say I'm not selling you, because I'm always selling. Just, I try and sell other people more than I sell myself. But like, it's so huge to treat it with care. And like, think about it. Tim, how many people that you know that you've got influence over, and that if someone got to a position of trust with you and that you felt it was in people's best interest, think about what a difference you could make for other people. And I'm sure you already have. You're aware of it because you're in business. Now let's take it to your clients. How do you advise your clients, right, when they are building and growing their business, and the necessity of them having to be able to vet potential new vendors, vet new referral partners, vet new, like, what? I'm kind of teeing you up because we're getting ready to close this out with a big pitch about leadership, right? How do you encourage your clients to approach the work of conceptualizing these relationships and making these decisions?
Well, if I'm talking with them about how to create or what to look for in these relationships, it's to look beyond the transaction and to look longer term at the transformation. Like in my mind, every relationship is or every vendor, every business relationship is something that's longer term,
Mm-hmm.
because you want to align with people, not just the people you're buying supplies from, but the people who are going to work to help you make your business more successful. And that can be done in many ways. There isn't a one of them who can't refer new business to you. So they can not only help you with their whatever their industry provides, but they can help you with introductions to other vendors who can help make your business more attractive and more successful, and they can help introduce you to potential customers, places where you can expand and enhance your business. And so it becomes like a I'm going to say like a friend group where we're helping each other to make our businesses successful. Those are the ones that I want to work with. I don't know if that fits what you were looking for or what you were talking about or not, but it's
Perfectly. I mean, it's exactly what it is, and I think that where people miss out on the real value of why should I refer you and predictable referrals, can I borrow your car, is they don't look beyond how what you just said can impact them well. But like if you're a business owner or a salesperson, understand that these things that we've talked about and Tim has shared, these are things that can drive greater value into the employees, into the other professionals, into the business owners in your network. And when you are visibly linked to growth, the answer to why should I refer you is very easy
yes.
when you really think about it. At the end of the day, referrals, not leads, not other crap like that, but referrals are someone else putting their reputation at stake for you, right?
Yeah.
And the more that you're associated with growth, even indirectly, that you're not getting paid for, but because of how you treat people and because of your network and stuff like that, the more I call them safe drivers, right? And my ultimate like Tim, you talk about somebody that I know that you want to meet, the answer is going to start with a sure thing. Like it's like, and then it's going to be okay. Well, let's figure out what's the best way to do it, how we're comfortable. But like that's where I want the audience to think about is you don't have to make friends with everyone. You don't need to get referrals from everyone, at least not purposefully. But let's really dial in on the ones that when you ask for help are going to outperform, right? And then I always tell my clients this, Tim. Hey, let's work with your top 10 favorite clients. Let's really dive in on how we can help them and how they can help you. And if we have time, we can go to the next 10. Right? You know,
Yeah,
but
it helps
everybody,
the focus, right? I
yeah,
mean, when I'm working with someone, I come into contact with someone that's a potential pass through, if you want to call them that, a referral. It's really easy to tell if they're there to get or to give. So you might argue if it's sixth sense, but I think you can just tell whether if I introduce somebody to you, I know before I pass them to you if they're a giver or a getter. When they come to you, are they going to be focused first and maybe consistently on what they can give, or are they focused on what they'll be able to get from you? Those people don't get past me anymore, not like they used to. And instead, I want to put you in touch with people who I know are there to give. They're concerned about how you can prosper and what you can do, and it's genuine concern. I don't want to say they're indifferent about whether or not they do business, but they're there because they have an opportunity to help somebody that I introduced them to.
and that, my friends, is why I love Tim.
Is that the only reason?
Well, no, no. I mean, good looks,
Okay.
menu selection, stuff like that. But so we're wrapping it up. So the last little bit here, because it's been spectacular and it was a great surprise. I think this is going to be one of the best episodes down the road because there's a ton of stuff we got into. But like, where can people find you? Like, where when they want to get some Tim Rhode, where should they go?
Well, the easiest way to reach me is just to drop me an email. And my direct email is tim@rmcmail.net. That's Romeo Mike Charlie MAIL.net. So And I have a website for the coaching program that I'm running right now. I have an online program that helps business leaders to succeed with change. And while some people kind of give me the dog look on that one, what I've learned in 40 plus years of business is that all progress requires change.
Period.
So when I had to distill what I've learned about business into the one thing that I think I could help the most people achieve the most success with, it's a simple 4 simple steps to lead successful change. How do you get from where you are to where you want to be without getting into detail? You can see it's called Changing Lanes Approach.com. And the analogy is the title of my book. It's what I use to help people realize a simple way to navigate this. And so you can go take a look there at the coaching programs, and get more information there as well. They can also get in touch with you, and you will put them in touch with me.
I'd be glad to. I will, as a testimonial for how powerful it is, I have started that software program a couple of times, and the clarity I've gotten just from the first couple of questions has actually, and this is really valuable for me, slowed me way down, had me stop and think, okay, this process is so powerful. What is the most important place to apply it right now, right? And I think I got it figured out. So I'm going to start on vacation because I'm a workaholic. like,
Yeah,
why not do personal growth on vacation, right?
70. Well, that's where some of my best personal growth stuff happens. So 70% of change efforts in business struggle or fail. And it's precisely because we just use our instinct and intuition, which we've learned to trust, our experience, right? But we don't ask those simple questions. That's really all the coaching program is, a series of questions. And I've after 3 or 4 years, I've figured out a way to do that, like in a DIY version where people can ask and answer the questions themselves. If anybody wants help, they can reach out to me, and I'm happy to walk them through it. But you just ask and answer some questions that help you put a plan together that leads to reliable progress.
That's beautiful. Well, brother, I appreciate it. This has been awesome. And
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, I'm sure we will talk, if not this week, next week.